For months, people in California went to sleep wondering if they would wake up alive. A mysterious intruder slipped silently into homes under the cover of darkness, leaving fear behind and almost no clues. He became known as the Night Stalker, and his crime spree remains one of the most terrifying chapters in American criminal history. During the spring and summer of 1985, residents across Southern California were living through a nightmare. The attacks appeared random, with victims ranging from elderly couples to young adults and families. There was no clear pattern based on age, background, or neighborhood. This unpredictability made the case especially frightening because no one seemed safe. The man responsible was later identified as Richard Ramirez, a drifter with a long criminal history who had spent years moving between Texas and California. Before his identity became known, investigators struggled to understand who they were searching for. The crimes occurred in different cities and counties, creating major challenges for law enforcement agencies that were not always sharing information quickly. Detectives soon realized they were dealing with a single offender whose methods varied but whose willingness to strike without warning made him extremely dangerous. As the attacks continued, investigators began carefully examining every crime scene. Although the locations were different, forensic evidence and witness accounts gradually revealed important connections. Shoe prints from a rare brand of athletic shoe appeared at several scenes, giving detectives one of their first significant leads. Ballistics evidence linked some of the shootings, while fingerprints recovered from crime scenes became increasingly valuable as forensic techniques improved. Witnesses described seeing a tall, thin man with dark hair and striking eyes leaving several crime scenes. These descriptions helped investigators create composite sketches that were widely distributed to the public. Despite these efforts, the Night Stalker continued to avoid capture, and fear spread across California. Many families installed stronger locks, purchased alarm systems, and formed neighborhood watch groups. Gun stores reported increased sales as people searched for ways to protect themselves. One major turning point came when detectives recovered a stolen vehicle connected to the investigation. Inside, forensic experts discovered a fingerprint that matched no one in the existing criminal database at first. As investigators continued searching, additional evidence strengthened the case. The fingerprint was eventually matched to Richard Ramirez, whose criminal record allowed authorities to identify him as their primary suspect. Once Ramirez's identity became public in August 1985, newspapers and television stations across California published his photograph. The publicity proved critical. Instead of quietly disappearing, Ramirez suddenly became one of the most recognizable fugitives in America. On August 31, 1985, Ramirez returned to Los Angeles after traveling out of town. Unaware that his face was now on the front pages of newspapers, he walked through a neighborhood where several residents immediately recognized him. Citizens began chasing him through the streets while calling police. During the pursuit, Ramirez attempted to escape by taking a vehicle, but bystanders stopped him. A growing crowd held him until officers arrived and placed him under arrest. His capture was not the result of a dramatic police raid, but of ordinary people recognizing the wanted suspect and refusing to let him escape. The investigation that followed uncovered extensive forensic evidence linking Ramirez to numerous crime scenes. Fingerprints, shoe prints, ballistic evidence, stolen property, and witness testimony formed a powerful case against him. Prosecutors presented evidence covering multiple murders, attempted murders, sexual assaults, and burglaries committed during the 1984 and 1985 crime spree. The trial began in 1988 and attracted worldwide attention. It lasted for more than a year and became one of the longest and most closely watched criminal trials in California history. Jurors heard testimony from survivors, investigators, forensic experts, and eyewitnesses. The evidence painted a clear picture of a man whose crimes had spread fear across an entire state. In September 1989, Richard Ramirez was convicted on numerous felony charges, including 13 counts of murder. The jury recommended the death penalty, and the court formally sentenced him to death. Ramirez remained on California's death row for more than 2 decades while his automatic appeals moved through the legal system. In 2013, he died in prison from complications related to cancer before his execution could be carried out. The Night Stalker investigation changed how major criminal cases were handled in California. It highlighted the importance of cooperation between law enforcement agencies the growing value of forensic science, and the role the public can play in helping solve dangerous crimes. The case also demonstrated how fingerprint evidence, careful detective work, and widespread media coverage can eventually bring even the most elusive suspect to justice. More than 40 years later, the Night Stalker case remains a chilling reminder of how fear can spread when a criminal appears to strike without reason or pattern. Yet it also shows that persistence, scientific evidence, and community action can overcome even the most difficult investigations. What do you think was the biggest factor that led to Richard Ramirez's capture? The forensic evidence, the media coverage, or the quick actions of ordinary citizens? Share your thoughts in the comments below.